Hello, welcome to the City Council's July 20th Special City Council meeting. This is a teleconference meeting with City Council, city staff, and members of the public participating remotely to ensure proper social distancing in this federal, state, and local emergency. Hello, my name is Drew Combs, and I'm Mayor of Menlo Park for 2021. I'd like to introduce city staff and council members present, including Vice Mayor Betsy Nash, council members Ray Mueller and Jen Willison. Staff present include City Manager Starla Jerome Robinson, City Attorney Nara Doherty, and City Clerk Judy Herron. With that, we'll move on to agenda review. Agenda review provides advance notice to members of the public and city staff of any modifications to the agenda order or any requests from city council members under city council member reports. Does the city council wish to pull or modify any agenda items? Okay. Seeing none and hearing from seeing no requests to change the agenda, we'll move on to item D, which is closed session. City Clerk Herron, do we have any public comments for closed session?
Thank you, Mayor Combs. So at this time, if any member of the public wishes to comment on item D1, our closed session item this evening, please engage that hand feature in the bottom of your screen. If you're calling in from a landline or a cell phone, you may press *9 now. So this will be the final call for public comment on item D1, our closed session item this evening. And seeing no hands raised, Mayor Combs.
All right, thank you, City Clerk Herron. Okay, with that, the City Council will adjourn to closed session and reconvene the special meeting immediately following the closed session.
Welcome back, City Council. Having a quorum return to our virtual dais, Mayor Combs, you may reconvene the meeting.
Thank you, City Clerk Karen. I'd like to reconvene the July 20th Special City Council meeting. Roll call again. I would like to reintroduce staff and City Council member present. City Council members Ray Mueller, Jim Willison, and Vice Mayor Betsy Nash. Staff present include City Manager Starla Jerome Robinson, City Clerk Nara Doherty, and City Attorney Nara Doherty, and City Clerk Judy Herron. City Clerk Karen, would you please provide instructions to the City Council and the members of the public on how the meeting will proceed?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Combs. And again, echoing a welcome to our July 20th Special City Council meeting. At this time, we ask that the City Council remain on screen, engaging your own webcams and microphones. For members of the public, City Council member Mueller is online. He is calling in. For members of the public who wish to make comments on any of tonight's agenda items, after the mayor calls for public comment, please engage that hand feature in the bottom of your screen. If you are calling in from a cell phone or a landline, you may press *9 to raise your virtual hand. That does conclude my introductions. Mayor Combs, you may continue.
Thank you, City Clerk Karen. Okay, with that, I will turn to the City Attorney Nara Doherty to announce if there are any reportable actions from closed session.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The City Council has approved a settlement agreement with Lexington Insurance Company and its member, the Los Lomitas Elementary School District, to settle 2 claims regarding damages to school district property at La Entrada Elementary School caused by an underground water line break owned by Menlo Park in an amount of $1,050,000, of which the city is only responsible for its SAR, and which SAR will be paid out of municipal water funds and not out of the city's general fund.
Great. Thank you for that report, City Attorney Doherty. With that, we'll turn to item H, presentations and proclamations. Do we have any public comments for items H1?
Thank you, Mayor Combs. So at this time, if any member of the public wishes to speak on item H1, proclamation for the Menlo Park Historical Association's 50th anniversary, please engage that hand feature in the bottom of your screen. If you are calling in from a landline or a cell phone, you may press *9 now. Our first public speaker is calling in. I ask that you state your name for the record before you provide your comment. It is a phone number ending in 3859.
Hello, this is Pamela Jones. I'm a board member of the Menlo Park Historical Association. I'd like to speak for myself, although I'm a board member and I'm sure they share my sentiments. I really appreciate the kind words in this proclamation. And I also want to acknowledge all of the support that you have given the Historical Association with the gates project that are absolutely gorgeous as we pass down Ravenswood, Fremont Park Storyboard, as well as most recently the Carl Clark Park Storyboard. So again, thank you for being so generous, and thank you for your kind words.
Thank you for your comment. And our next public speaker will be Tim Johnston.
Thanks, everyone. My name is Tim Johnston. I'm the president of the Menlo Park Historical Association. I want to echo my colleague Pam Jones' words and also add that as a 3rd generation resident of Menlo Park and third generation member of the Historical Association Board and its current president, I'm very honored to be receiving on behalf of the association, the board, and our membership this proclamation. We pride ourselves in, and have since 1971, in the identification, preservation, and making available to the public artifacts, images, and other items of historical and cultural interest to the city. And we are undertaking a fairly ambitious series of projects now to continue that tradition and expand that tradition. So we're very grateful to the board for your, and the council for your ongoing support in all the projects we've undertaken to date, and look forward to partnering with you and city staff and all the initiatives we have underway now and will in the future. My view is we're preserving the past and the present for future generations, and history is occurring in this city every day. And in 50 years, people will look back on what's happening now, and that will be historically relevant. So there's no day that passes that history isn't made in this town in one form or another. And our mission is to ensure that that is made available to future generations. So thanks again for your ongoing support, and look forward to actually hoping to meet with each of you individually, council members, as the year progresses. Thanks very much.
Thank you for your comment. So this will be the final call for public comment on item H1, our proclamation this evening. Seeing no further hands raised, Mayor Combs, you may continue.
All right, thank you, City Clerk Heron. With that, I'll read the proclamation honoring the Menlo Park Historical Association on its 50th anniversary. Whereas the Menlo Park Historical Association was established on March 25th, 1971, and is thus celebrating its 50th anniversary. And whereas the Menlo Park Historical Association proposed and then collaborated with city officials in the design, development, and installation of a replica and accompanying storyboard of the Menlo Gates dedicated on March 17, 2019. And whereas the Menlo Park Historical Association proposed and then collaborated with city officials in the design, development, and installation at Fremont Park of 2 storyboards detailing the history of Camp Fremont and 1 storyboard at the Carl E. Clark Park in the Bellhaven neighborhood, describing the life and contributions of World War II naval hero and community leader Carl E. Clark. And whereas the Menlo Park Historical Association annually holds numerous member and community events about the history of Menlo Park, including physical and virtual walking tours, showcasing locations of historical significance, and annual dinner and annual meeting featuring city and community guest speakers. And whereas the Menlo Park Historical Association has partnered with downtown businesses in showcasing Menlo Park's history via Menlo Memories, pop-up displays of historical images and artifacts. And whereas the Menlo Park Historical Association continues to leverage web and social media technologies to provide the community with up-to-date and easy to navigate access to the rich history of Menlo Park and the association's archives. And whereas the Menlo Park Historical Association continues to meticulously archive records, documents, images, and artifacts of historical significance, and makes them available to residents, researchers, students, community organizations, students, and other interested parties. And whereas the Menlo Park Historical Association continues to meticulously archive records, documents, images, and artifacts of historical, I think I already read that one, sorry. Whereas the Menlo Park Historical Association, since its inception, has worked tirelessly to preserve the history, culture, and traditions of our city for our residents, visitors, and future generations to enjoy and learn from. Now, therefore, it resolved that I, Drew Combs, Mayor of the City of Menlo Park, on behalf of the City Council, recognize and support the mission and contributions of the Menlo Park Historical Association. And so I was now going to recognize Tim Johnston. He spoke before, but I see that there is a hand raised for the Menlo Park Historical Association. So I'll acknowledge whoever that is to accept the proclamation. Oh, you're muted.
Sorry about that. I didn't realize I was on that part of the agenda, so I jumped in ahead of it. I'm not knowing, but again, I wish to thank you on behalf of the board and the members. But I did want to make one note with regard to the proclamation, and note that item about the Menlo Memory pop-up displays. I'm pleased to let you know that as of tomorrow, the information kiosk that sits on Santa Cruz Avenue outside Boulanger will now contain historical images detailing some of the artifacts of Menlo Park. And we will continue to do that in the 3 kiosks that are downtown, as well as a number of business owners' front windows. We have collaborated with a number of businesses and are working to get those installations put together. And the other part of that will be, we realize the struggles that downtown Menlo Park is undergone. And when we publicize these pop-ups, we'll be publicizing the fact that these businesses are cooperating and collaborating with us. And we encourage the residents to populate and frequent those businesses and spend some time downtown. That's all I got.
Well, thank you, Mr. Johnston, and definitely congratulations and a well-deserved proclamation to you and all of the past, present, and future members of the Menlo Park Historical Association, of which I am one.
And we're in the process of reaching out to the younger generations of Menlo Park residents to ensure that they become aware of and appreciative of all that is Menlo Park and its heritage.
Thanks. I'll now acknowledge the council in case they want to give any remarks. Since I can't see him, I'll start with Councilmember Mueller.
Thank you, Mayor Combs. I just want to express with fullest heart gratitude for your tireless and creative work, born out of nothing but love for the city and its residents. And I want to throw down the gauntlet to my colleagues and city staff that it's my great hope before the day comes that I leave this council that we can find the Menlo Park Historical Society a permanent and public physical home. So thank you.
Seconded, third, fourth, and fifth.
Thank you, Councilmember Mueller, for those comments. Is there anyone from council who wanted to provide comment? Okay. Well, again, thank you, and
Thank you very much.
And yes, it has now been publicly expressed of the need and desire for the Historical Association to have a permanent home, and so
we're working on it.
Yeah,
we got some ideas. We're working on it, and I know you know that.
Yeah. Cool. All right.
Okay.
Well,
thanks again.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
All right. Well, with that, we'll move on to the consent calendar. Under the consent calendar, the city council may take action to approve routine business items in one motion unless the city council member, city staff member, or member of the public requests that an item be discussed or continued to a later date. City Clerk Karen, can you call for public comment on the consent calendar?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Combs. So at this time, if any member of the public wishes to comment on items I-1 through 4, which include city council meeting minutes, a resolution approving a grant of easement to the United States of America for construction of a water control structure within Bedwell Bayfront Park for the South Bay Salt Pond Restoration Project, resolution for authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with the California Department of Education to reimburse the city for the Bellhaven Child Development Center operational costs, and I-4, which is to adopt a resolution modifying the city council's regular meeting schedule. Please engage that hand feature, bottom of your screen. If you're calling in from a landline or a cell phone, you may press *9 now. So this will be the final call for public comment on tonight's consent calendar, I-1 through I-4. Seeing no hands raised, Mayor Combs, you may continue.
Thank you, City Clerk Heron. With that, I'll bring it back to the dais and entertain comments, a motion. Vice Mayor Nash.
I move that we approve the consent calendar.
Councilmember Willison.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a first and a second.
Thank you. So I have a motion on the floor by Vice Mayor Nash and a second by City Council Member Willison to approve the consent calendar. By roll call vote, City Council Member Mueller,
Yes.
City Council Member Willison,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Nash,
Yes.
Mayor Combs,
Yes.
and the motion passes with City Council Member Taylor absent. Thank you.
Right, thank you, City Clerk Heron. With that, we'll move to the public hearing portion of the meeting. The public hearing is a formal proceeding held in order to receive testimony from all interested parties on a proposed issue or action. The public hearing tonight is J1, hold a public hearing and consider any protest related to the collection of a stormwater regulatory fee on the tax roll. Adopt resolution number 6645, authorizing the collection of the stormwater regulatory fee on the tax roll at an existing rate, the existing rates to implement the city's stormwater management program. Here to introduce the item is Assistant Engineer Scott Jaw.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. My name is Scott Jaw, and I'm an assistant engineer in utilities. Tonight, I will be giving a short presentation on the local stormwater fee. Next slide, please. Each year, funds collected are used for the local stormwater fee. Funds collected from the local stormwater fee are used for the staff, admin, and operating costs to meet the requirements of our municipal regional permit, general and administrative overhead, and miscellaneous professional services. The city began collecting the fee in 1994, and the fee has remained the same for more than 20 years. The fee is $5.25 per 1,000 square feet of impervious area. And the average fee for single-family homes ranges between $16 to $26 per property. And each year a report is produced which lists each parcel's fee based on their impervious area. And this report will be on file with the city clerk's office and is available upon request. Next slide, please. So the requested direction from City Council tonight is to adopt resolution number 6645, authorizing the collection of the local stormwater fee. And I just wanted to clarify that City Council will not be approving the fee itself, but simply authorizing the collection of the fee, and then the fee will be placed on the county tax roll. And finally, the City Council's authorization tonight will remain in effect for future fiscal years, as long as the fees remain unchanged. So this concludes my presentation tonight, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Jaw. Let's go to public comment, and then we'll bring it back to the dais.
Thank you, Mayor Combs. So at this time, if any member of the public wishes to speak on our public hearing, item J1 related to the stormwater regulatory fee on the tax roll, please engage that hand feature in the bottom of your screen. If you're calling in from a landline or a cell phone, you may press *9 now. So this will be the final call for public comment on our public hearing item J1. And seeing no hands raised, Mayor Combs, you may continue.
All right, thank you, City Clerk Heron. So bringing it back to the dais, the virtual dais. Are there any? First, let's start off. Are there any questions for Mr. Jaw? Vice Mayor Nash.
Thank you. I'm just curious if we received any protests.
We have not received any protests.
Thank you.
Any other comments or actually, just as a formality, I'll close the public hearing and then bring it back to the dais. So we're still in the same spot, but yeah, now if there is, since there doesn't seem to be much discussion, if there is a desire to provide some action, then we can certainly take it now that the public hearing has been closed. Councilmember Willison.
Yeah, I'll move to authorize the collection of the stormwater regulatory fee on the tax roll.
I'll second that. So we can bring up the city clerk.
Thank you. So I have a motion on the floor by City Council Member Willison and a second by Mayor Combs to adopt resolution number 6645, authorizing the collection of the stormwater regulatory fee on the tax roll at the existing rates to implement the city's stormwater management program. Any further City Council question or discussions? Seeing none, by roll call vote, City Council Member Mueller,
Yes.
City Council Member Willison,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Nash,
Yes.
Mayor Combs,
Yes.
and the motion passes with City Council Member Taylor absent.
All right, thank you, City Clerk Herron, and thank you, Mr. Jaw, for the presentation and for all the work. Maybe you can look at the quick resolution or approval of this as a testament to all of the work and the high quality of it that you put in. So again, thank you. With that, we'll move on to informational items. Informational items are transmitted to the City Council and staff's effort to provide an update on matters of importance to the City Council. Informational items are not action items. However, a City Council member, city staff member, or a member of the public may request to make a comment or ask questions on any of the informational items. We'll first go to the City Clerk to call for public comment.
Thank you, Mayor Combs. So if any member of the public wishes to speak on our informational items this evening, items K1, City Council agenda topics, and K2, recruitment status report as of July 14th of 2021, please engage that hand feature in the bottom of your screen. If you are calling in from a landline or a cell phone, you may press *9 now. And our first public speaker will be Pamela Jones.
Hello again, Pamela Jones, and it's rather hysterical that the last four of my cell number are now memorized, but I appreciate that. I have a question about the tentative City Council agenda because I don't see reimagining the police on here. So when I use this to keep track of what's coming up. So that's my only comment. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. And this will be the final call for public comment on items K1 or K2, tonight's informational items. Seeing no further hands raised, Mayor Combs, you may continue.
All right, thank you, City Clerk Karen. So the reimagining the police is coming up. Council staff, it is on the 29th, right? Is that correct? July 29th. And so my apologies that it wasn't listed in the agenda, council agenda topics. It as you know, is something that we have made a priority, and it sort of has been moving around a bit, and we prioritized it happening in July. And so I think in sort of the process, we didn't sort of communicate that in that list, but it definitely is happening on the 29th. So next week. Any other, I don't know if staff wants to add something, then please do, but if they're comfortable with what I communicated, then no need.
Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry, I'm blocked from the video for some reason, but I think you communicated it really well. I just would point out that it's on a Thursday night instead of on a Tuesday night.
Yeah, thank
So,
you.
There we go. So that the public's aware of that. 5 o'clock, Thursday, July 29th. And it's the first meeting of a number of meetings. So, but we look forward to the community attending and participating.
Thank you, City Manager Jerome Robinson. Any other City Council comments or questions about informational items? Okay. Well, with that, I think that we've covered everything. Again, Ms. Jones, thank you for that question and seeking that clarification. And with that, I think we will adjourn. Okay. Everyone have a good rest of your evening.
Have a great night.